You're watching and listening to The Pulse WV Live, a network that beats to the heart of God, and I'm your host, John Fowler. So glad to have you tuned in. Hey, let me tell you something. There is more excitement walking with Jesus than you could ever imagine, and there's more excitement than what meets the eye, especially if you pastor a church and you're stuck within the four walls of the church. And you can't ever get out to go mingle much or to go talk much or to get into the trenches, so to speak. Because when you think about church, what I'm going to talk about today, these kind of things don't really happen much in the church, but they happen outside of the church. One of the things that I believe that is the biggest challenge right now within church is there's that identity crisis of the church trying to figure out who it is and standing bold on the promises and what it believes. I think the political world has got into bad shape because the church went silent. And I think this has happened, over a period of years. But I think that if we could be more one-on-one with people and helping people one-on-one and then bring them into a locker room experience, so to speak, in the sanctuary of the church on Sunday, and the pastor is the coach, and God is the owner, and you're the coach as a pastor or a lay leader, and you're sharing the gospel to the players, and then we go outside of the four walls and we play the game all week. And I'm not saying Christianity's a game, but understand the analogy. And we go out and we beat the opponent, and the opponent is Satan. And when we can beat him, it's a win-win for everybody. It's a lose for him, but a win for us. So the title of the podcast today is The Great Adventure. And can I tell you something, that I don't believe the great adventure is in the four walls of the church. I believe the great adventure is outside of the four walls. And so walking with God is one of the greatest adventures, because there are doors that will open for you and experiences and challenges that are going to help you to grow. But not only this, but you are going to be a blessing to others like you never imagined. So when we walk with God, He's going to guide you. He's going to guide me. And we are going to pray for those people that are hurting. You say, well, there's people that are hurting inside the church. Yes, there are. But there's also more people outside of the four walls of the church that need help also. So not only this, there's people that are hurting, but there's also people that need His touch. And so let me give you an example. Last night, Christy had a Bible study at our house. And let me encourage you to have a connect group, a small group at your house from time to time. Get people together, break the routine of normal, and get together and enjoy one another's company and share God's Word. So Christy has a Bible study every other week that she goes to, and every so often it's at our house. And so the ladies all showed up, and I said, well, I'm just going to go out and run around a little bit. So I went out and did Uber and Lyft, which I do from time to time. And what a ministry! If you don't think that you're making any progress with people, go out and do Uber and Lyft, because you meet all kinds of people. And so I met a lady, and a couple other people that were with her in the car, and I was talking about what I do, and that being a pastor. And there was at one point of the conversation that she said, she got real quiet, and she said, let me ask you something. I said, okay. She said, when you talk to God tonight, ask Him to help me. And I broke my heart. And I'm telling you, I said, well, let me pray for you right now. So I prayed for this lady in the car. And I also said, you can also talk to God. I said, you have the same privileges that I do to talk to God. And I said, all you have to do is ask Him into your heart. And I said, He can change your situation. See, a lot of this doesn't happen within the four walls of the church. And so I want to encourage you to to get outside of the four walls. And what people will tell you, and they'll say, well, I'm comfortable talking about Jesus. Well, I bet you're not uncomfortable talking about the new restaurant that opened that you're telling other people about, or the new movie that is out in the theater. I bet you're pretty comfortable about talking about the football game on Sunday, or the college game that went on. And I'm not throwing off on sports, because I love sports just as much as the next person, but we're comfortable talking about anything but Jesus, and we have to get comfortable in talking about him. You know, you can go up to somebody that, may be having a bad day and say, hey, how can I pray for you today? Not in a hostile, arrogant environment. See, the church sometimes has this arrogant tone to it that thinks that it is entitled, and it turns people off. My daughter used to wait tables years ago. She said the worst day was Sunday. She said because she said the Christians would come in after church, and they would be rude, they wouldn't tip, and they were entitled. And I'm thinking, there's a real issue here that needs to be addressed with who the church is. And we are to serve. We are to be a servant, not to be served, but we are to serve people. That's what Jesus did. So there are hurting people that need us in our communities, and they need a touch from heaven. And we can bring them to Jesus. So this spiritual journey is not just about our personal growth, but it's also about being a vessel that God can use to help encourage others. Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 6, here's a scripture. Here's what it says. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. God directs us to the people and situations where our prayers and our presence can make a difference. So walking with God will lead you to divine appointments, people that need you, and you may need somebody. And God has done that in my life too, which is real exciting. So he's going to give you divine appointments. That means that you're going to meet this person at the right place at the right time to hear what you have to say and to help them because they have needs. Prayer becomes one of the most powerful tools to help those that are hurting. And the journey with God is always filled with purpose and discovery. You always will learn something about somebody else, asking their name, asking questions. How can I pray for you? It's so important that we do not speed through our day and miss opportunities to share Jesus with people. So the next thing is encouraging others along the way, and it just pigtails off of part 1 here. As part of the great adventure and the Great Commission, we are to go. You can't spell go without God. It's Matthew 28. And walking with God, and he will equip us with the words that we need to say to the people that are struggling. Go into Walmart and find a husband and wife with 2 or 3 kids and bless them with a $20 bill or a gift card or a $50 bill. Just be a blessing to somebody, today. And finances is one of the biggest things that you can be a blessing with people over. So by sharing his word and demonstrating his love, we can uplift those that are weighted down with life's challenges. And when you think about Galatians chapter 6 and verse 2, Galatians 6 and 2, bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. So encouraging others is an act of love that will bring both them and us closer to God, making our journey even more meaningful. Never rip somebody off. If you're a Christian and you owe somebody money, pay them. Even if it's $20 a week until you get it paid off. Don't avoid the phone calls. So encouragement to people will transform someone's life and renew their hope. So not only that, I picked up a couple of people that were homeless one day, lived in a tent, the both of them. The one lady had a cough, and I was started to talk about that. And there are people that are hurting in this world that need us to be a light to them. Just a smile sometimes will change the direction of somebody's life. God uses our words and our actions to bring His light, not our church's light, but God's light into a dark situation. Because let me tell you something. Light has no competition. When you turn a light on, it overcomes darkness every time. So supporting others will strengthen our faith and deepen our walk with Him. So then, not only that, there's an excitement to be able to help people. There is nothing more exciting than being part of God's work and helping others. I remember several years ago at our Gasaway campus around this time of year, there was a group out of North Carolina that would come up, and they would bring potatoes and sugar and, toys, just absolutely. And they needed a place to where they could distribute these things free of charge. It was a missionary trip that they did every year. And so, there were hundreds of people coming through the church, getting free stuff. And I'll never forget being outside, and somebody had put a children's bicycle in the bed of their truck, and I stood there and watched a guy steal that bicycle out of that truck, and put it in his car. And these people didn't know each other. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with people to do that kind of thing? So a lot of times you have to understand that even though you're trying to help people will also try to take advantage of the situation as well. But there's more excitement in helping others than people, being mooches, so to speak. So, enjoy that excitement of being part of an adventure of wherever you're going, whether it's through small acts of kindness or life-changing support that we offer people sometimes, that we reflect God's love in a tangible way. In Matthew chapter 5 and 16, here's what it says. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Helping others is not only fulfilling, but it also glorifies God, making every step of the journey worth it. Even in the midst of your trouble, you could be a blessing to others that will lift you up. So helping others brings joy and excitement to our walk with God, and small acts of kindness can be an eternal significance to people. And when you help others, we glorify God and spread His love into a chaotic world that we live in sometimes. People need you because you're the church. You represent God. Be that example, would you? If you're not part of God's church, we can change that right now. All you have to do is say, Father, forgive me of my sins. Come into my life and live. Use me for your kingdom, glory, and honor. If you prayed that prayer today, great things are ahead for you. Angels are rejoicing in heaven. Get in a Bible-believing church. Today is Wednesday, by the way, and so you can get in church tonight. And if you need a Bible, ask the pastor. Or if you need one, we'll send you one free of charge, courtesy of the Pulse WV Live. Hope this study helps you today. Please share, like, and subscribe. Download our app on your Android or your Apple device, the Pulse WV Live, and it gives you access to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, music, preaching, and teaching, some of the best this side of heaven. And I know that you will be blessed by some of the great teaching from Pastor Jay Mace, also Eric Veltri. I'm just trying to think of Scott Means, tent meeting that took place a couple of years ago in Braxton County. Every one of those is online, so you can catch all those. Please, and we're on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. We're on all the networks, plus Facebook, YouTube, and also on Rumble. Catch us today, would you? And we appreciate the ones that give to this ministry, and we encourage you to do that because we are doing good in our communities, both in our Winfield campus in Putnam County, West Virginia, and also in Braxton County, West Virginia. in Gasaway, West Virginia. So we want to encourage you to give to this ministry. Text the word PULSE, PULSE, to 1-304-244-3187. Also, go to thepulsechurch.com and give through PayPal. Check out our website while you're there. And then you can mail your love gift to P.O. Box 141, Gasaway, West Virginia. P.O. Box 141, Gasaway, West Virginia. It's on the screen, 26624. Thanks for listening and watching the Pulse WV Live, a network that beats to the heart of God. Have a great day.